Hi, I can hear. I'm doing well, thank you. Yeah, it feels good to be back. I know it's. I'm seeing some inception here. Oh, you're being too kind. Well, I thank you. All right, same.
Hey, Eli, can you cut to 10 for us real quick?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Now you're gonna do it.
You said quick.
You know what? We got the mic check.
I'll do it faster than you, I bet.
Count by tens. Multiply 20 by 1/2. It's 10.
Multiply?
Yeah. Multiplying by halves is probably either the end of 6 or the beginning of 7, I think.
1.10. There we go.
Got it.
So far.
You
You can hear me? You can hear me? Well, yeah, but you couldn't hear me the first 2 times I said that? Yeah, easy now. A lot going on in that mind of yours. Your head's going all over the place is what it is. Hey, easy now. All right.
Live check from live check. Mic check from the live check. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 from the live shot. In 3, 2, 1. We're not leaving.
Major support for Do the Math has been provided by Chevron, the Kern County Superintendent of Schools, Edison International, California Resources Corporation, Kern Schools Federal Credit Union, Panama Buena Vista Union School District, Bakersfield City School District, and the Kern High School District, with additional production assistance provided by these supporters of education in Kern County and throughout the state of California.
Well, good afternoon and welcome to Do the Math. I'm Michael.
And I'm Jesus. You can call us at in Bakersfield at the number 636-4357. And if you're in San Luis Obispo, toll free 1-866-636-6284. You can also reach us at email by dothemath@kern.org. Watch online at dothemathonline.net. And look for us on social media also, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube.
All right, well, you know what? You brought up the thing about San Luis Obispo County. If you phone in from that county and we put your problem on air, you will automatically receive ice cream, courtesy of our friends at Doc Bernstein's Ice Cream Lab. And there are two schools going head-to-head over there. So they've got a little competition. It is Grover Beach and Ocean View Elementary. And those two schools are putting up a little competition with each other. And the students that win at those schools are going to be in for quite a treat. And that contest is starting now and going all the way through December, the first half of the year. And it will be quite a treat, whichever one of those schools wins and the top students over there. Anyway, as Jesus said, we do have phone tutors available until 5:30. The phone numbers are at the bottom of your screen periodically throughout the program. We have a very special guest in studio with us today. We'll be going out to Cal Aeronautics to find out a little bit about the pilot training program that we have right here in Bakersfield. And before we do any of that, get to the phone calls of the day, let's first take a look at today's Math in the News. Nice new graphic for season 17, and nice to have you back once again this year.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Before we get going, why don't we just kind of like reintroduce you to people that are new to the program, because you are lending yourself, let's say, from CSUB. So kind of let everybody know kind of what your role is with the university.
So at the university level, what I do is train teachers, and more recently I've been working a lot with the residency programs that we've been creating throughout the county. And so that's kind of what I've been doing, is teaching math education for all of our teachers in training.
There you go. So we're glad to have you aboard once again this year.
Of course, it's my pleasure.
A lot of great sports and athletic activities at CSUB.
Oh yeah.
And is there one that you follow more, or you just like?
Oh, there's the year.
Oh, that's right, the wrestling. All right, and I think they just released their schedule where they're hosting quite a few activities.
I need to look at that. Yeah.
Coming up, and anyway, CSUB athletics going above and beyond now that they're in Division I.
Oh yes.
Getting a lot of WAC titles and things like that. Volleyball season, big tournament this weekend, starts tomorrow. So there's a volleyball tournament. And then basketball always is big. That'll start up, I think, end of October, November. But college football is going on right now. And CSUB doesn't have a football team, so I don't feel bad about bringing up college football, whatever team is in the news. So in the news right now is Alabama. The University of Alabama, Roll Crimson Tide. And the reason they're in the news right now is because the polls have college football teams at the top, and then they rank them usually 1 through 25. Alabama has just set a record for the weeks at number 1 at 106 weeks. So, I mean, that's pretty impressive, because it used to be, I think it was Ohio State had it at 105, and then 106 weeks ago, Alabama started at number 1, and they haven't dropped from number 1 for 106 weeks. That's
impressive.
Because, I mean, you get a loss, you're out, right? I mean, so I just wanted to bring that up, and they've got another, obviously another game coming up, so hopefully they can make it and keep on extending that. So congratulations to the Tide and that 106 weeks in a row right there. So we do have phone tutors available until 5:30, and as I said, we do have a very special guest in studio with us today, and this is Eli. How are you?
Good.
Why don't you let everybody know where you go to school and what grade you're in?
I go to Stockdale Elementary and I'm in 6th grade.
How's 6th grade going?
Good.
What's the best thing about 6th grade so far?
I don't know.
Still early in the year.
Well, there's got to be something. It could be, let's say, you're at the top of the school now, right? There's nobody above you guys in 6th grade, right? So you get to like dominate the playground or something like that, right? So we'll go with that. All right. Have you ever heard of Camp Keep?
Yes.
What do you know about Camp Keep?
You go away from the school for 5 days on a field trip and come back.
There you go. Well, that is the truth. And do you have any idea what you'll be studying?
Animals.
True, but I'll let your teachers get you more into that. So you'll probably study a lot about that as you get closer, all right? But it's going to be a week that you'll never forget in your life. I promise you that, okay? Are you ready to do a little math?
Yep.
All right, head on over to the board. We're going to do a quick problem with you right now. And Jesus is right there to help you out.
I'll write it down
All
for
right, so Jesus, how about if you write the problem and then we'll have Eli go ahead and solve it. So Eli, you're going to make up the problem. So give me a single digit number.
8.
All right, 8 plus, give me another number.
Does it have to be 1 digit?
Yes.
7.
7, open parentheses. Another number.
6.
All right, we'll go -2, close parentheses. And we'll just leave it at that for now. I just want to start you off slow. And what we want to do is simplify that expression, Eli. So think about what you're going to do. You and Jesus work through that together.
Okay, so I'm going to hand you
All
the
right.
pen first of all. When I look at this, I think order of operations. Now, does that sound familiar to you at all? Can you tell me a little bit about order of operations?
In order operations, there's a parentheses and you always want to do that first.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So most kids would remember the word PEMDAS, right? So parentheses is the first one. Great. So why don't you go ahead and start working on this problem? You notice some parentheses, obviously. What are you going to do there first?
Subtract the numbers in them.
Okay. So you have 6 minus 2. Go ahead and do that. And you can
4.
put it right below it there. That's fine. And I like to rewrite the problem as we solve it. So I like to say, okay, this is the answer from the parentheses. We got a 4. I still have an 8 plus a 7, and there's parentheses around that number still. So let's keep the parentheses around the 4. So let's go ahead and rewrite this by putting parentheses around your 4. And let's rewrite this. So we have 8 plus 7. So go ahead and write your 8 plus 7 there. All right. So now we're looking at this, and it says 8 plus 7 times the quantity 4. Okay, so I like to say that's the quantity in parentheses. So what is 7 times 4? That's what our next step is.
28.
Okay, so now let's go ahead and go down one level and write our new modification of this problem. So we have a 28, and we still have our plus. Remember, we still have this part of the problem we have to finish. So go ahead and write your 8 plus. Okay, now we have our final step, which is 8 plus 28.
36.
Okay, so let's go off to the side and write our answer as equals, right? Because this is still an equals problem. We're trying to find the answer of 36. Great. And so let's just review what we did here. We started off with the original problem, which you made up. And I noticed, and you said the same thing, the parentheses was the first part of it. We wanted to subtract that. 6 minus 2 gave us 4. Then we just copied all this, that we brought all of this down just to say, here's the problem that we still have to work on. 8 plus 7 times that quantity, 4, that you just came up with. Well, 7 times 4 is the next step in order operations, multiplication before addition. So we know we have 4 times 7, 28, plus our 8. And you've just done the addition, which is our final step at 36. Why don't we go ahead and circle our answer to know that that's our final result? And we are good.
Nicely done. Leave that on the board for a moment there,
Sure.
boys, because I've got something I'd like you to do. What I would like you to do is up on the right-hand side of the board, just write the number 60. Now, looking at that problem, how could a student have come up with the answer of 60? This is your error analysis.
Okay, so what you're asking is,
How
could they
could you have come up with
60?
60 for that answer?
Okay.
So you have to think about how to do it wrong, but how would somebody see it that maybe didn't understand the whole process?
So order of operations was probably the big thing. If we make a mistake on our order of operations and we attack something without doing maybe the 6 minus 2 first, it's possible.
So you might have added 8 plus 7 equals 15,
Okay.
and they would have done this first, then they would multiply that to get 16.
Right. So Eli was saying that adding 8 plus 7 would give you 15. Why don't we go ahead and write that off to the side so we can kind of see what you're thinking here. So you said if we were to do this wrong, someone might add before we multiply, right? And then what would that be? 15 what? In the parentheses, what did you have?
Times 4.
Times 4. So go ahead and write your parentheses. Or yeah, you can just put times 4, that's fine, because we kind of already worked out that 6 minus 2. And what is 15 times 4?
60.
60, sounds great.
There you go. Nicely done. So I just wanted to see if you guys could figure that out and why that would happen like that. 636-4357 is the phone number. We do have phone tutors available until 5:30. As a reminder, all of the students in Kern County, you phone in, and while we've got them, every single student will receive a ticket to the Kern County Fair. So we appreciate the guys at the fair giving us tickets for all the students looking for a little bit of extra math help. Right now, we're going to go live out to Cal Aeronautical and see what's going on.
We are live today at California Aeronautical University, and I am with Dr. Michael Berry, Director of Education. How are you doing today?
Fine, thank you.
Can you give us a little bit of background about yourself?
Well, from an Air Force family, my dad in the Air Force 28 years, so I grew up around airplanes. And so when I went to school, I wanted to learn how to fly. So in 1991, I got my pilot's license. I went on to Embry-Riddle, got my master's degree, and then my doctorate degree in management. So I've been around airplanes all my life.
And how did you get here to the university?
Well, it was very interesting. I was a director of online education at SBB College, and our president, Matt Johnson, we got the contract to come, and he came and asked me if I would help start the campus. So I left that job and was the first employee here.
And how long has the campus been here?
We got the keys to the facility August 15th of 2015. And our first group of students came in January 4th of 2016, 5 students, and now we're at 140 students.
Oh, wow. And you're going to give us a little bit tour of the campus. It is really big. And I don't think a lot of people really know the campus is here, because when I drove up, I was like, wow, this is really cool. Can you give us a little bit tour of what's going on here?
I can show you kind of where we're at with students and stuff.
Okay, what's behind us real quick?
Well, behind us here is, this happened to be my simulator. It's an early 1970 simulator that they used to use in the early part of education. The chair there, the instructor would sit there and they would close it off, and then the students would be flying, and the panel there, the instructor would change the wind or the altitude or the velocity or so, and they had to adjust to it. And then it's progressed now to the bigger simulator.
Do you still use this though?
No,
or is it just there?
It's fully functional, but we put it there so they can kind of see what used to be to kind of the more advanced simulators these days.
So this is, well, I would put it to like a ride, but it's similar to that.
Right. So what we do, it's cost effective. Students, we can put them in the flight simulator and all the avionics and stuff, and we can push a button there at 3,500 feet. They can start practicing versus getting in an airplane, going over, doing a run-up. It takes them 15 minutes to kind of get ready to fly. So we can do some of the things very quickly here and repetitively, and the things that might be more dangerous or that students feel a little bit uncomfortable about, we practice it here first
Before they
go out there. And so that's kind of interesting.
What type of planes do you actually use here?
So our basic trainer is a Cessna 172, which is pretty standard in aviation. So the Cessna 172, but they have what they call the G1000 avionics, which is state of the art. So where it used to be gauges and all that, now it's all digital. And they can push a button and find out what the nearest airport is. They can push another button, it gives you a map for where that airport is. You can push a button, all the weather. So it's really pretty decent.
And how large is it? I mean, how many people can fit inside that plane?
Well, the Cessna 172 is seated for 4, but you know, with the math aspect, we have to do weight and balance for every flight. So depending on who the pilot is and who the passengers are, we have to make sure that they'll fit into that aircraft so we maintain our weight and balance and our center of gravity. So that's part of the whole math thing that we do every flight.
That would be a great math problem.
Yeah.
Okay, can we continue on?
Yeah. Well, out here, so this is kind of where students hang together and talk, but we're going in here to the flight planning area. So we have right now, we have Elsa and Taylor, and so they're working on stuff. In here, we have our students get together with their flight instructor, and so they'll look over the flight plan to make sure that that's well done. They'll look over their weight and balance to make sure that all that paperwork's done. They sit, and every flight they would do a pre-flight. Here's what we're going to do today. Here's what you can expect. And then they go out and do it. And then at the end, after their flight, they come back and do a post-flight. Here's how did it feel when you did this, and this is what you could do better, or you did this really well, but here's how we get ready for the next lesson.
So it's almost like a reflection.
Correct.
On what happened.
Yeah, it's a process, a debrief of what they did so that they can learn from that.
Okay, and then over here, this area also, is it like almost, it looks like almost like a study area?
Yeah, it's the same thing. So right now we've got Luis, who's one of the instructors, working with Hank, and they're getting ready to do a flight. We have some charts up here that they use to kind of plan. The whiteboard, they draw out the airport and what taxiways they might use and how to enter the pattern, all those types of things. We have a diagram of one of our aircraft so they can actually sit in front of it and desk fly. It's a lot less, it's more expensive to sit and practice there before they get to some of those other things.
And then you have a really cool room over here because it feels like we're in an airport when you walk in here with all the monitors.
Yeah. Well, this is kind of the life center, dispatch. So if a student and their instructor are getting ready to fly, they come in here, and this is where they get all of their keys and stuff like that. And Nick, who's one of our students here, can maybe tell you about that.
Hi, Nick. How you doing?
Great. How are you?
Can you kind of tell us what's happening on all three of these monitors?
Sure. So this is one of the last stops that the students make before they head out to the airplane and go for their flight. So here we have a lot of great information presented to us. Our left screen here we have basically our roster. This is the students that are scheduled for today and their instructors and the plane, and who's currently out in the air and who's coming up next. So before their flight, the students can come up and double check to make sure they're in the right airplane that they're scheduled for, and see the instructor they're with as well. Our center screen is kind of unique. We use Flight Radar 24. This is kind of a live traffic map, if you think about it. Right now there's no traffic in the air above us, but you can actually zoom out to any location and see live air traffic. So if we come over here, we actually see one of our aircraft over here in Santa Maria, 435 Charlie Alpha.
Are they headed back towards
looks-
Bakersfield? Can you tell by looking at that?
It doesn't tell us from here, but you can sometimes, depending on the track, it'll let you know. You can assume that too. You can click on it and it gives all the information as far as its altitude and its heading, and even the aircraft information. Like our plane right there is a year old. So
Now, it's not only your planes, correct? It could be other planes as well on this?
As long as they're outputting what's called ADS-B information, it'll pop up on here. And sometimes it takes a little bit to load, but yeah, we can zoom out to the different maps and see exactly different types of traffic.
Wow.
Right now we have it filtered down though to our aircraft. Makes it a little bit easier to find.
That area.
Yeah.
Okay, well there is so much going on here and around in all these rooms, and we have more. I think when we come back, we have a math problem we're going to be doing, so we're going to send it back to the studio.
All right, thanks for that, Mary Lou. A lot of big things going on at Cal Aeronautical University. Have you ever thought about being a pilot? Well, you know what? You never know. Might hit you one day, you go up in a plane, you're like, hey, this is pretty cool, and we've got something right here in Bakersfield that you can go to and train to be a pilot right there, as well as some other outstanding private flying schools here in Bakersfield. Right now, we're going to go to the phones, and Jessica, how are you this afternoon?
I am good.
And what grade are you in?
I'm in 7th grade.
All right, as soon as you're ready, let's hear the math problem that you're working on.
As a birthday gift, Zoe gave her friend an electric piggy bank that displays the total amount of money in the bank, as well as the total number of coins. After disposing some numbers of nickels and quarters, only the display read $2 and they were 16 coins. How many nickels and quarters did Zoe put in the bank?
So it's $2 with 16 coins?
Yes.
Okay. Well, Jesus is ready to help you out.
Hi, Jessica.
Hi.
So I've drawn a quick picture of a piggy bank. Please don't judge me on that. But I have $2 in this piggy bank, like you said. So that's one piece of information that I'm going off of. And then I also heard you say there were 16 coins. Is that correct?
16 coins. Yes.
Okay. So I thought I heard one other piece of information that's necessary. Did you say something about quarters and nickels? Could you repeat that piece for me?
Yes, it said, how many nickels and quarters did Zoe put in the bank?
Okay, so I'm just going to write that down off the side. I know I need some quarters, and I know I need some nickels. Okay, so here's some questions for you. Now, do we know the value of a quarter? That's the first question. Let's just write that down. Can you quickly just tell me what the value of a quarter and a nickel are?
The value of a quarter is 25 cents.
Okay, so I'm going to write 0.25 is 25 hundredths of a dollar, 25 cents. You're right. Go ahead.
And the nickel is 5 cents.
It's 5 cents, which is 0.5 or 5 hundredths of a dollar. Okay, so knowing that information, now I have to start going and saying, okay, I'm going to keep adding up some quarters and adding up some nickels. That number has to add up to 16 coins. Do you have a method or a strategy that you tried to attempt this problem?
No.
Okay, so here's a couple of ideas. I actually looked at this and I thought automatically, what if I just started, guess and check? There's that method that works really well, guess and check method. If you want to try that, let's at least go down that route first. Let's try and play with a couple of quarters. Let's throw some quarters in there and start playing with that number, and then we'll start adding some nickels as well and see what that gets us. How about that?
Okay.
Okay, so I'm thinking, I know 4 quarters is $1.
Yes.
So we can start with 4 quarters. And I know that that's going to be 4 times 0.25, which is $1. Now, if I was to add, 10 nickels, if I multiplied that by 10 nickels, that would give me 50 cents, right? So 10 nickels is 50 cents, which gets me pretty close to $2, where your mark that you're looking for, but I'm still short on there. And how many total coins do you see here currently? So I have 4 quarters and 10 nickels. If you add up the number of coins that I have, how many would you say there is total?
14.
14 coins, right? Well, you said I needed 16 coins. So I'm thinking to myself, what can I change here that would allow me to get closer to 16 and add 50 cents also? Because I need 50 more cents, don't I?
Yes.
So you have an idea of what you might do here? Would you add quarters? If I added 1 more quarter, what would that give me? I have $1.50 right now, and if I added just 25 more cents, what would that give me?
$1.75.
$1.75, which is close. I'm at $1.75, and I have 15 coins, right? So 15 coins would make $1.75, and that's pretty close to $2, isn't it?
Yes.
What would you recommend? Do you have a direction? Would you go from there? Because I only need 1 more coin, but I also need 25 more cents to get $2, don't I?
Yeah, you could use 25, a quarter.
Another quarter, right. So if I went and said 16 quarters, I'm sorry, 16 coins, I'm having a little problems here with the computer.
I think if you write on the left side of the board, it'll be a little better.
Okay.
There must be something over there.
Okay, so if we now came up with so what we're using this information we came up with, or that we started with, I saw that 16 coins did equal to $2. So rather than saying 4 quarters, how many quarters will I need in total?
You will need.
I started with 4 quarters, and then I needed to add 2 more to get that number. Remember, so I had 4, but what did I change it to? Okay, so here's what I'll think. I'm looking at this problem right now. If I had 4 quarters and 10 nickels, that was $1.50. And you told me to add 50 more cents. Really, you told me to add 50 more cents, which is going to give me $2. So changing the 4 quarters, I added 2 more quarters to that, correct?
Yes.
Which is going to give me 6 quarters. So now I have 6 times 25. Oops, I could have just erased. 6 times 25 is $1.50.
Yes.
And then your 10 times of 10 nickels, or 10 times 5 cents, is your additional 50 cents, which gives me the total that I'm looking for. Does that make sense to you? Okay, so that's one way of looking at this, is like, using that guess and check method, where I'm saying, let's just put some quarters down and then let's put some nickels down, because the original problem said you're using quarters and nickels. And so I like this approach for this problem, using guess and check, because it's just playing with some numbers and saying, okay, I have 25 and I'm going to keep adding 25, 25, 25, and then I'm just going to put some nickels down and then just change the numbers around to see if it works for $2.
Oh, okay.
So 6 times 25, one last time, 6 times 25 gave me $1.50, and then 10 times 5 cents, or 0.05, is 50 cents. And then you add those two together is when you're going to get your answer. How's that work for you, Jessica?
Well.
All right, well, hopefully that helps you out. Jessica, if you need some more help, we do have phone tutors available until 5:30. And congratulations, you've got yourself a ticket to the Kern County Fair. So we hope you enjoy your time out there. A lot of animals right there. Hey, we do have phone tutors available until 5:30, and we have Eli in studio, a 6th grade student, and we'll be getting Eli to work in a little while. But first, we're going to go back to the phones. And Jamie, how are you this afternoon? Hello, Jamie.
Hello.
And are you in 6th, 7th, or 8th grade?
7th.
All right. As soon as you're ready, let's hear that math problem.
Okay. I have 3 puppies plus the mom equals 4. One puppy wakes up, and then he finds 20 bones. He takes 2 bones, puts it in a hole, and another puppy wakes up. Then he eats 3 bones. Then the mom woke up. Then she finds the hole, and then she puts 2 more inside the hole, and then one more puppy wakes up and puts 3 more bones inside the hole. How much are there left?
Okay. So I tried to copy down some of this information that you're giving me. What it sounds like, there are 3 puppies and 1 mom. So that was what you told me at the beginning. Now, how many total bones, just to make sure I got it right, did you say there was 20 bones total? Okay. Now, it sounds to me like this is one of those problems where they're taking away and also replacing. Does that sound true to you?
Yeah.
Okay, so it sounds to me like if I have 20 bones in this hole and they're taking away some and then they're putting some back, it's going to be an addition, subtraction. So why don't we go step by step? I'm going to just write down, well, I already written down 20 bones. I know there's 20 bones here. So let's start by just saying, what was the first thing that they did?
One puppy gets 2 bones and puts it inside a different hole.
Okay, so one puppy took 2 bones out of this hole and put it somewhere else, right? Now, in your mind, is that an addition or subtraction to that 20?
Subtraction.
Okay, so it sounds like they took away 20 bones, or 2 bones from that 20, right? And now what do we have as our total? Let's just try and change the total and keep the total updated as we do this. So we had 20, and one puppy took away 2 bones. What do we have now?
18.
18. Okay, so I'm liking this so far. I can keep track of this if we go step by step. What happened after that first puppy took those 2 bones away?
Another puppy woke up and then found the hole, and then she ate 3 bones.
Oh, she ate 3 bones? Okay, so is that going to add to this total or take away from this total?
Take away.
Okay, so I'm going to also then subtract 3 bones from this total as well. And I had 18 in that hole. Take away 3 bones. So what are you left with now? Let's update our total.
15.
15 bones. All right. So now, go ahead and give me your next piece of information.
The mom wakes up, and then she finds the hole, and then she puts 2 more bones inside.
Okay, so I need to hear that part again. She finds them all? Or she just puts 2 bones?
She found all the rest of the bones inside the hole, and then she got 2 more bones and put them inside the hole.
Okay, so...
So it sounds like, so is she finding 2 and bringing them with the other ones? Or did she take 2 and put them in the hole?
She found 2 other bones, and then she put it inside the hole.
Okay, so it sounds like we have our total right now at 15 bones, and the mom found 2 additional bones and put them back into the hole. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay, so now when I say putting into the hole, is that going to be, are you thinking about that as an addition or subtraction to the 15?
Addition.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and add, remind me, was that 2 bones?
Yeah.
Okay, 2 more bones into this hole. And so if I had 15 and I add 2 more bones into this hole, what is my final amount of bones in this hole?
17.
17. How does that work for you? Was there any other things that we need to go from there, or was that it?
And then another puppy comes in and puts 3 more other bones inside.
Okay, so another puppy comes and brings 3 more bones?
Uh-huh.
All right, there's some activity happening at this hole. So if I had 17 bones and then another puppy comes and adds 3 more. So we had 17 and I added 3 more to this. Go ahead and do that math for me. We have 17 plus 3 more?
20.
20. So it sounds like we have a total of 20 bones in this hole right now? If that was the last step, or was there more?
No, that's all.
Okay, that sounds great.
There you go, nicely done. A lot of bones, a lot of dogs, a lot of puppies, and another free ticket to the Kern County Fair. Hey, we do have phone tutors available until 5:30. We'll get Eli to work in a little bit. We'll be visiting with California Aeronautical again. But first, we'll take a look at this. We'll be right back. Today we're in Boron. We're at West Boron Elementary School, home of the Jackrabbits, and today we're here to All right, well, last time we were going over basic shapes with the students from West Boron Elementary, and right now we're going to take that and we're going to put it to the test and see how well they can describe the shapes and see if somebody can draw what they're looking at, all right? So here's what I need you guys to do. When I tell you to, you're going to turn over one of the colored pieces of paper. You're going to see some shapes drawn on that paper. You don't want other people to see what you're looking at, so when you take it, you want to kind of take it and kind of look at it yourself, and you're going to write down some descriptions, all right? And then you can put it down and pick it up, look at it as many times as you want. But you really don't want somebody else to see what you're looking at, okay? You want to write down a series of steps so that when somebody reads your description, they will be able to draw exactly what you were looking at. Does that make sense to you guys? Okay, so you want to be very descriptive in your writing. We remember last time we were talking about just basic shapes, circles, squares, rectangles, triangles, different types of triangles, things like that, okay? And remember, when we were trying to describe them, they could come out to look a couple of different ways if you go exactly what somebody wrote down. So, you guys ready? Okay, so each of you are going to take a colored piece of paper. They're all different. You are going to, by yourself, look at that picture. You can go ahead and take it, all right? And then as you're looking at it, start describing what you see so that somebody else will be able to duplicate that, all right? So as soon as you're ready, start writing down all the steps so that somebody can make exactly what you're looking at. Come on up. Together we'll do exactly what that says, all right? So come on up to the board and we'll go ahead and draw that one. So let's use this one. Nice clean board over here. Grab the color marker you want. All right, so let's read this out loud here. We'll put this down for now. All right, first you draw a trapezoid at the bottom of the paper. So you can go kind of, let's say we do this.
Oh, no.
All right, we'll just take that part off, all right? So we've got a trapezoid at the bottom of the paper. Read the next part.
Then you draw a rectangle across the top of the trapezoid.
Okay, so draw a rectangle across the top of the trapezoid. the length of the rectangle being the same as the length as the top of the trapezoid. So that looks good right there, right? Okay. Then you draw a triangle on top of the rectangle, but to the right of the rectangle, only taking up half of the rectangle. So you draw a triangle on top of the rectangle, but to the right of the rectangle, only taking up half of the rectangle. So that looks like it satisfies it, right? Okay. On the other half, draw a square as tall as the triangle that you just drew. There we go. After that, draw a line from the top of the square to the top of the triangle, making a different type of triangle. So you're going to draw a line from the top right of the square.
Top right?
Top right of the square to the top of the triangle, making a different type of triangle. That's kind of a difficult one there, isn't it? So go ahead and do whatever you think is going to be the best bet. All right, so there we go. All right, so why don't you go ahead and call Roman up.
Roman.
And bring your original paper, so bring that up. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to go through the process here. All right, so draw a trapezoid at the bottom of the paper. He did that, and is that the way it looks for you? Pretty good, right? Okay, next thing. Draw a rectangle across the top of the trapezoid, the length of the rectangle being the same as the length of the top of the trapezoid. How's he doing so far? Pretty good. All right. And then do you remember what we had to do next?
We had to draw a triangle.
Right, we had to do the triangle to the right. Did he do good?
Kind of, yeah.
Good. Kind of, right? It's a triangle on the right side. Okay, then what?
We draw a square.
Then we had to do the square. All right, so where's the part that kind of looks a little different?
The triangle needs to be like a isosceles triangle, being like the both sides.
Okay. And what we have here is it says, after that, draw a line from the top right of the square to the top of the triangle, making a different type of triangle. So that's kind of where it got a little bit hazy, let's say, right there, all right? So overall, how do you think you did?
Pretty good.
You did pretty good, right? I mean, all the way up to that point, everything looked pretty perfect, right? All right, boys, nicely done. Nice descriptive writing, nice interpreting of the writing, and taking that drawing. Let's see how everybody else is doing, all right? Moving all the way from what you guys learned in kindergarten all the way through now to 6th grade with some more vocabulary, geometric shapes, and being able to describe them a little bit better. And we did it all right here at West Boron Elementary. And once again, a big thanks to all the students out at West Boron Elementary. We had a great time out there, and thanks to all of their great efforts with their math work. Eli's in studio. Time to get to work, son. You've been hanging around too long. Let's get going. All right, Eli, what are you working on in school right now as far as math is concerned?
Ratios.
Ratios. Show us an example of what you've been working on. So, does that mean 4 to 1?
Mm-hmm.
Is there another way to write that? Is there another way to write that?
Mm-mm.
Well, think about what I'm saying. 4 to 1. There you go. Now, I noticed that the second one, it looks like a division symbol. Is there another way to make a division symbol a little different than that to show 4 to 1? Think about fractions. There you go, 4 to 1. So can you explain to us a little bit about ratios and what you understand about them right now?
So during a ratio, it might say like this number, like it might say there's 4 of this number, then there'd be 1 of something else. You want to write the first number before the second number.
Okay.
All right, nicely done. So you kind of understand that stuff as you're going through it right now?
Mm-hmm.
All right, you know what? We're going to give you a break right now. We're going to go to the phone call. And Ben, how are you this afternoon?
Thank you.
And I think we've got Ben ready.
Hello?
Hello, Ben. How are you?
Good.
So what I need you to do, Ben, is go to your TV set or your computer and turn the volume down all the way.
Okay.
And just listen to us over the phone.
Okay.
So that'll make things a little bit easier. All right, you ready?
Okay.
All right, you're a 6th grade student, correct?
Yeah.
All right, as soon as you're ready, let's hear the math problem that you're working on. So you can just go ahead and read it to us and we'll put it on the board.
Okay. 5, and then in parentheses, 2x minus 3y plus 7, in parentheses, minus 4, and then again in parentheses, 3y plus 5x minus 1, and in parentheses.
Nice way of reading that and making sure that Jesus was able to get that down, and it looks like it's up there correct.
Okay, so we ready, Ben? Do you want to try and attack this with me here? Okay, so what do you recommend doing first?
Multiplying 5 times 2x.
Okay, so you recognize that we have to multiply or distribute this 5 to every single number that's inside of this parentheses, correct?
Correct.
And also, when I see this number x, or this letter x, it's a number, but the number in front of it is a coefficient, and we want to multiply 5 times that number in front of the x, and then 5 times the number in front of the y, and then of course 7, right? So when we multiply this, we're multiplying 5 times 2, and then there's an x that's going to follow it, right? So what did you get when you multiplied 5 times 2x? I'll go ahead and copy this down as you write that, or as you tell me.
I didn't do this, however, it equals 10x.
Okay, so 10x. And then you have 5 times, now this is where students sometimes will get caught up, is they see 3y, but keep in mind that that's really a minus 3y or a negative 3y. So 5 times a negative 3y will give you what?
Negative 15y.
Very nice, good catch. And then we have this plus 7, so we still have to go 5 times 7.
35.
All right, so we have a positive 35 there. Nice job on that first set. Now let's go and move on to the next one. Now again, I also notice that this has a negative 4 that's going to be distributed to all of those terms inside. So be careful when you're multiplying this. It's not saying 4 times 3. It's saying negative 4 times 3, okay?
Okay.
So go ahead and tell me, what is negative 4 times 3 with the y at the end?
Negative 12y.
Very nice. Negative 12y. And then I'm going to multiply negative 4 times a 5x.
Okay.
What is that going to give me?
Negative 20x.
Very nice. Negative 20x. And then we have this last piece, negative 4 times negative 1.
Equals positive 4.
Very nice. Okay, so now here's what we see. I have this entire expression showing 10x minus 15y plus 35 minus 12y minus 20x plus 4. That's a mouthful. So what would you say has to happen next?
We have to group the, similar?
Yes, what we call the like terms. Exactly. So we're going to group these like terms. And what I'm actually going to do here is I'm going to try and highlight or underline them in different colors. So I know that there's a 10x, and I'm going to underline that with red. And there's also a negative 20x. So I've underlined those two in red. Now let's go ahead and just combine those. What is 10x minus 20x?
Minus 30x.
Okay, so I have a positive 10x. So be careful with that. Think about 10 on a number line, and I'm going 20 in the negative direction.
Minus 10x.
Very nice. Okay, so now we have a negative 10x. I'll write that in red, negative 10x. I'm going to switch my color to like a green or something, and I'm going to find the y, which is negative 15y, and I have a negative 12y. So now thinking about a number line, if I'm at negative 15 and I go another negative 12, or 12 in the negative direction, so I'm going to add those both together in a negative direction, what would you end up with there?
You would end up with 27y.
Yeah, so it's, but it, remember, it's the negative because we're starting at negative 15 and we go negative 12 more, don't we? So I have negative 27y. All right, and I have my final numbers, which are just the standard 35 and 4. So I have 35, positive 35 plus 4. And what did you end up with that there? 35 plus 4.
Positive 39.
All right. Now, let's look at what you have as your final answer here. I have a negative 10x minus 27y plus 39. How do you feel about that?
I think that's the answer.
Okay. Yeah, so what sometimes students will just get confused with is they see that there's an x, there's a y, and there's another number. We cannot combine these because I have 10 times some number x and minus 27 times some number y. These cannot be combined any further. All I can do is combine the like terms like the positive 10x and the negative 20x, the ones that I've underlined in red and the ones that are in green and the ones that are in blue. And I recommend you do the same thing. If you have some crayons or colored pencils, try to underline them so that way you say those only the same colors can be combined because those are like terms. How'd that work for you, Ben?
That was perfect. Nicely done, Ben. Congratulations. You've also got yourself a ticket to the Kern County Fair. Important, I wanted Ben to make sure that when he said a number like 35, that he knew that it was positive 35, because sometimes students doing this for the first time will just write 35 and then there's no positive or negative. Right. And then you get all thrown off. Anyway, we'll get into that a little bit more. Right now, we're going to go back out live to California Aeronautical University and visit with Mary Lou.
We are back live at the California Aeronautical University, and I am with one of the instructors, Moises.
Hello.
Hello. Now, you have a special role because not only are you an instructor, but you're also a student.
Yes, I am, yeah.
And how long have you been a student here?
So it's going to be my second year in this October.
And you're not from Bakersfield, correct?
No, I'm from Santa Cruz.
And how did you get started?
So I got started back, it started off when I was 10 years old when I started with a young flight. Right, my mom took me out to the airport and they took me up for an introductory flight just around my local town. And from there, I just been in the back of my head and just always been excited to do that. And it wasn't until high school I joined a program my friend introduced me to. And there they introduced me to all the vast careers in aviation, and with that they also provided helping me with my flight training as well as my instructor, as well making it affordable for my family.
And here you are now, huh? Now you have a math problem for us, correct?
Yeah, so we just have a simple math problem. So back in the days when we started, we started using these. It's called an E6B, electronic flight, a flight computer that we use, all right? So here we use calculated times and distance, so just like distance, rate, and time, we can figure out simple math problems, all right? So for example, we have our rate and our time. So if we were to use, for example, we're flying 110 knots, meaning our speed, all right? We set our rate time right there. We look at our distance, all right? So our distance in nautical miles. So let's say we're going 80 nautical miles. We'll come down, and right there we can see we're between 40 to 45. So that little tick mark goes being 45 minutes flight time is going to take to get there.
So it's like a little cheat sheet.
A little cheat sheet. And again, we expanded from this to using electronic. So again, it uses the same principles of all that. So we, in this case, it's weight and balance. So you use simple addition, subtraction, and multiplication that we all have to learn. And we use this, all right?
So you just need basic operational, foundational skills to help you.
Yeah, basic algebra skills.
Okay, so from this, where can you take that to use?
So from this gets you all ready from your flight, so you know what to do and how to prepare, what exactly distances, times, and safety things that we have to know, and we can take it up into the sim. Yep, the simulator.
And that's where we're going now, right? And we have Elsa in here. Hello, and she's actually going to kind of help me out. Okay, Elsa,
welcome.
Let's say, what am I doing here?
Okay, so today I put you on the Honolulu International Airport. So we're
we're flying to Hawaii? Or we're in Hawaii? Okay, I'm on vacation.
And we're just gonna fly around for a little bit. Okay, so the first thing you're gonna do is you're gonna take off. I'm gonna unpause the flight.
Okay.
And you should, there you go. So it's already started. So you're just gonna add full power.
Okay, am I pulling or pushing this in?
You're gonna push that all the way in.
Okay.
And you'll see it start to rise. So go ahead and push it all the way in.
Okay.
Okay, and so you'll see we're starting to move now, and we're picking up airspeed. So you can see our airspeed's picking up here, right there.
Okay.
And then once that number gets to 55, we're gonna do what we call rotate. Okay, so put your feet on the pedals there.
Where's the pedals?
A little bit of right there, so we can stay on there.
Okay.
Over here, and then now I'm gonna help you, and we're gonna pull back on this.
Okay.
This is calling what we call rotate. And there you go. And so now we're climbing.
Oh yay! I took off. Oh, I didn't crash.
Not yet, no. And so now we're just gonna fly around. You can go as high as you want. And so the cool thing about planes is, unlike cars, we actually use our pedals, so our feet on the ground to steer. And then in the air we use this. This was our ailerons. So right now we're turning. So we can actually go back to level here.
So what do the pedals do again? That controls.
So the pedals on the ground, we use those to coordinate. So unlike turning here, like your steering wheel, we turn with our feet. And then the air, we use our yoke here to turn there.
Oh, okay.
And one of the cool things is pilots, we actually have to calculate our banks of turns and everything like that, and how fast we're going, and use all of that. So you can see here we're doing a 20-degree bank.
I'm talking to you and I'm turning because I'm going this way. Well, this is so cool. Thank you. You just did it so much easier, and you are also an instructor here. I want to thank you, but I'm going the wrong way. I want to go this way. Well, when we come back, we're actually going to go outside and look at a real aircraft to see what they're actually going to be flying up there. So we're going to send it back to you at the studio while I continue to fly over Hawaii. This is so cool.
Well, nicely done, Mary Lou, doing a little flying over the Hawaiian Islands right there. Good thing she's not doing it in real life right now with the hurricanes and stuff traveling through, because I guess there's one ready to hit Hawaii as well as the east coast of the United States in the next few hours, couple of days actually. 636-4357 is the phone number. Phone tutors are available until 5:30 this afternoon, as well as most Tuesdays and Wednesdays throughout the regular school year. Right now we're going to get Eli back to work. Up to the board, young man. You may select any 2-digit number you like. And go ahead and write it up there.
14.
All right, 14. Nice, easy number. I will not give you an easy number like that. I will select 78. So put 78 above or below it. It's up to you. All right. Now, what do you think I would like you to do with those?
Multiply.
Hey, there you go, because I don't want you to do something like add or subtract them, so I want you to multiply those. So you can do it whatever way you like. Just explain it to us as you're doing it.
All right, so 4 times 8 is 32, so you write the 2 at the bottom and the 3 above that. And 4 times 7 is 28, plus the 3 is 31. When you're done, you're
at the bottom of that.
Cross that out. We can.
There you go.
Then when you're done with this number, you're going to put 0 at the bottom and move on to this, the 1 multiplying to this. So 1 times 8 is 8, and 1 times 7 is 7. And you add these together. You get 1,092.
Now, how do you know that's correct? I mean, because you've got numbers there, and it looks like, I mean, is there any way to check your work to make sure that it is done correctly?
So it's really hard to multiply big numbers like this. But what if we were to come to like the nearest 10? We call them the nearest tens. So like 78, if you were to round that, which is the nearest 10 closest to 78?
80.
80. And what about 14?
10.
So now we have two numbers that if we rounded to the nearest 10, 80 and 10. Now I can do multiplication of 80 and 10 in my mind, but if we wrote it off to the side, just write 80 and 10 off to the side. And you'll see how I'm going to show you the math that we do in our head. And if we just go ahead and make it into a multiplication problem. Here's what I'm thinking. I know that 1 times 8, and it's going to have 2 zeros, so I know that it's what number?
800.
800. So that's our answer if we were to do this problem, you know, mental math. That's the kind of math that I would do in my head. I would say that's close to 80, that's close to 10, And so when I multiply them, I get 800. Now that's not entirely close to this number, but it's a pretty good idea. And of course, because this is 14, it's kind of more in the middle of the number. So
yeah,
that's where
and
we
that's
go.
what I was wanting you to do, is
Sure.
just kind of estimate it right there.
That's
So
a great
nicely
way.
done.
Here's 10.
And Eli, for your efforts today, we will be sending you home with a movie ticket, so you can go to a movie of your choice, courtesy of our friends at Maya Cinema. So congratulations on that. All right, we do have time, one more opportunity to head out to Cal Aeronautical University and check out with Mary Lou and see if we can get her in an actual airplane instead of the simulator this time.
We are back live at the California Aeronautical University, and I am with another instructor, Nick, who is also a student here. And we are outside with an actual plane that you guys do use.
Yes.
Can you real quickly tell us protocol?
Sure. So we normally come out here and start towards the back of the plane, and we make sure that everything as far as aircraft go looks nice and sound. Antennas are attachments is loose on the bottom. There's nothing extreme, any kind of big dents or anything like that. We continue working our way towards the back here, and we double check all the different connection points of the elevator, make sure everything's all good to go. Same with our rudder, our antennas. Kind of a nice eyeball check and all the linkages and stuff like that to make sure there's nothing out of the ordinary.
Okay. Real quick, inside also,
Yes.
you have your check that you have to do prior to takeoff, correct?
So just like the outside, we do an interior check with our systems and everything. This is usually after we start the engine especially. This plane's kind of nice because it tells you anything that could possibly be wrong with it for the most part. It's a G1000 NXI, so it's pretty advanced. And this plane itself is actually brand new. It was born in March.
Wow. Well, I want to thank you, and I want to thank Elsa and Moises for having us here today, because it's been really kind of cool, and there's been so much. There's so much more to check out. And if you are interested in becoming a pilot, go ahead and check out the California Aeronautical University with Dr. Barry. And again, thank you, and I'd like to give you a tile just as our appreciation for letting us come out here. Thank you so much. And there is so much more to check out here, but that's it from us today. We'll send you back to the studio. Thanks again.
All right, thanks to that, Mary Lou, and thank you to everybody out at Cal Aeronautical University. 636-4357 is the phone number. Phone tutors are available until 5:30. Don't forget, San Luis Obispo County. Phone numbers toll free, especially don't forget the two schools head-to-head. Later on this week, I will tally them up and let the principals know where each of the schools stands after 1 week. And remember, this thing will go all the way through December. Now, Eli, you said that one of the best things about sixth grade is that you're kind of at the top of the school right now. Is there anything kind of bad about sixth grade or something that you would like to change about sixth grade right now?
That you don't have to do science fair or oral language.
Okay, so you just have to do one of them, I guess?
You have to.
You have to do one of them? And what one do you think you're going to be doing?
Oral language.
Oral language? So you've done that before and you like doing that? Well, there you go. Like I said, keep an eye out for Camp Keep. You're going to have a good time over there. And for being a guest on Do the Math today, do you know that you are now an ambassador for Do the Math? All right, do you know what that means? An ambassador means you have to let other people know about Do the Math. All right, so all you have to do is when you wear the shirt, let people know about the show, that they can call in, get some math help and stuff like that. You can do that? Nicely done, dude. Good job today. Hey, you know what? We do have phone tutors here until 5:30, and once again, until we meet again, continue to do the math.
Major support for Do the Math has been provided by Chevron, the Kern County Superintendent of Schools, Edison International, California Resources Corporation, Kern Schools Federal Credit Union, Panama Buena Vista Union School District, Bakersfield City School District, and the Kern High School District, with additional production assistance provided by these supporters of education in Kern County and throughout the state of California.